Hello, I'm Alex Sidervak. I will be teaching this section, hopefully till the end, unless something happens unexpected. I typically teach this course, at least one section in fall and half of the summer, but not for you. Hopefully you will pass. So it is for people who start in the summer for some reason or transfer from another program so they can catch up with this course in summer. This time we have only one section. In the previous year we had two sections, but one section was really small, so now they decided to put together so for efficiency. And probably it will stay as a one section going on for a while. This course has specifics, so I want to describe specifics in the beginning, so you're not surprised by it. And after this, we'll start installation of the software. And then next we'll go to course outline and do installation of the software, and I'll play with Android Studio today. So what is the specific of this course I want to emphasize? Theoretical content of this course is changing quickly because we need to keep up with technology. But sources of information are quite often out of date. So for this reason, it takes extra time in learning because you find something, it doesn't work, you need to find what is working. So in this sense, attending class is useful because I'm trying to stay in the trend. And information which is online sometimes is several years old, so it just doesn't work right away. You can make it work, but it doesn't work right away. So you'll spend extra time in making this work. So for this reason, I try to record lessons, but it's not guaranteed because sometimes technology fails, sometimes I fail because nobody's perfect, and it's not recorded. In the end. So try to attend lessons because it is useful. Your assignments and practical parts of the exams, midterms and final, will be related to what I teach, obviously, and not to something else. So for this reason, it is, I would say, the most efficient way to study in this course is to go with the trend of this course. Some students choose different approach. They just pick a book and just go with the book from beginning to the end. This doesn't really work for this course, unfortunately, because many textbooks are several years old, and code from this book will not necessarily even work. So primary sources for this course is information provided by Google. Google is company, and Google is search engine. Sometimes I refer to textbooks just for extra information. Say, if you want to read extra, go there, but be aware that code will not be copy-pastable. I'm referring to it for discussion of theory, essentially in general words, not theory for copy-paste. Unfortunately, yes, or fortunately, technology is changing quickly. It is good and bad thing. Another feature of this course is that code is quite long. And the fact that it is quite long is related to GUI development. And you're probably familiar with GUI development from many other courses, and you realize it by the time that there's no such thing as shortcode for GUI. If you develop GUI, which is more than just one button and one message, you need to write significant code in order to make it work. So for this reason, at least for that reason, code is quite large. And just because code is quite large, we cannot really type entire example from beginning to the end. So what we will do in class is to, in the beginning, to make some applications, simple application from scratch. Later, we will pick some code, change it, explain it, and I will explain how to add extra features. And so each time it will be just some modification, provided that I explain how to get starting point. So In some courses, perhaps idea of creating something from scratch and building till the end of the course may work, but not in this course, unfortunately. The reason is that if we try to do it, we will get with one application and we will understand the one, but it will be only one small part of the theory. Because it's hard to stick all information that you're supposed to know just in one application. And textbooks that try to do it actually end up with some quite primitive application at the end of the book. They don't really explain much. So for this reason, I'm trying to pick several different examples. I rewrite them because sources are not right from me, but I had to rewrite it for the reason that code directly from the book is completely out of date in the sense that if you create project from scratch, you will start from different code. You cannot really copy paste it. And if you open that code, it's not clear how to get there because it started from different point. So for this reason, practically all applications that you will have as an example are rebuilt from scratch using different sources. So I will provide links to GitHub where I posted modified code from a book, but of course I will refer to original, but not in the sense that it is to be a decent human being, essentially, so I don't take credit for somebody else's work. And also you may read description of the original and get some extra ideas. So this is my rationale of using examples for this sense. So this is a specifics of the course, and just because technology is changing quite quickly, it also takes time to learn it. So don't postpone it till the last moment because you cannot just open textbook and read the chapter and get everything necessary to do first assignment or second assignment. So it also requires some skills to build in order to make application work. So mostly this course is not about memorizing theory at all. It's about learning approaches how to develop Android applications. It is focusing on Android. Android applications that has most of content of other you have. It doesn't have artificial intelligence at all because it's a separate course. Hopefully you will learn it in separate course and figure out how to add it to Android. So it is introductory course into application principles of focused on Android. As far as I know, it is the only course where you have native Android application development. You will not have native Android application development in any other course. It means it is the way how most applications that use Kotlin or use operating system features, deep operating system features are written nowadays. This course is in Kotlin language. I will refer to Java in terms of comparison, but we will not code in Java because it is separate language, separate thing to learn. And it is not recommended language by Google anymore to Android application development. So several years ago, Google switched focus from Java to Kotlin first. So new features are implemented in Kotlin, and they will be available first in Kotlin, and some features will never be available in Java. In particular, newer GUI for Android is available only in Kotlin, and it will not be available in Java at all because it is using modified Kotlin compiler. It's not even Kotlin language. It is using plugin to Kotlin compiler to understand this Android code. So although we say modern native applications are for Android are written in Kotlin, it's not really even Kotlin language. It is Kotlin language plus extra stuff similar to Kotlin, which is compiled by plugin of Kotlin compiler. So for this reason, it takes extra time and extra to understand this code because it's not like language you used to when everything is top to bottom. So this, you will see that it takes time to get catch understanding. As a primary resource to find current information for the course, I will list other resources. By the next time, I will create PDF file. I do have PDF file, but I need to make sure that every link is working. I use it in the sum and realize that one thing doesn't work. I want to check that maybe other things don't work anymore. And the primary resource to get information, like reference information, is developerandroid.com. So it is developerandroid.com, developerandroid.com. So when you go there, you may get announcements like, oh, this Android show Summer 25 coming up tomorrow. Okay, so probably good idea to look if you have time. So they do post new things, new updates, and this is an excellent way to stay current what is going on. Today we will download and install Android Studio. It is obviously in here. But before going there, we need to install Git, and we need to discuss other things like structural things of this course. So I'm going back to Slate, and in the content, I split this into weeks. And I posted some stuff for week 1, and I will add things for second lesson. It is primary this lesson and probably beginning of the next lesson, but not all the next lesson. So let's talk about class plan. So the best way to contact me is either through Slate message or this email. If you send to Slate a message, it will duplicate to this email. So there's no point of sending two. And if you send it to Slate, it will split, so I will have it at this email as well. You know it is intentional configuration feature of our email system. You cannot email from Slate. You can only email from Slate to Slate. So don't try to send to this email from Slate because it will be just stuck somewhere. You will not even get a warning for a while that it's not delivered. Okay? So if you email to this email, please use regular shared email, some other email, not Slate email. Because in Slate, you can email only to Slate. I don't have specifically assigned office hours because it's not efficient way of spending time. I figure out with years of experience teaching courses. The best way to resolve issues is just to Slate message. Or in class. Actually, it's not. Any grading issues, it's best to send through Slate message. Like, yeah, why is that great or whatever, what is going on. It is through Slate message because I don't want to discuss grades because it's private in class, because as students here, and it's kind of violation of your privacy, okay? Policy, like privacy policy. But if it's fine with you, I will, okay? Because I don't want to expose this part. So attendance, although not mandatory, it is really good idea to come. I already explained why. I try to record most of the lessons, but it's no way guaranteed that there are objective reasons why it can fail. Not objectives, subjectives as well, like I made something wrong, so it didn't record. Although it shows like on the screen that it is recording, something may be wrong with sound, and sound is not recorded. To record it such way, it's hard to understand. It happened before. So if you miss it, it's your responsibility to figure out how to catch it up. I'm not teaching anything completely new or made up from scratch. I do use my own examples or rewritten examples, but they're still based on available theory. So it is possible to catch up, but you will probably spend more time when you do it. Quizzes in exams must be completed on specified days. If you anticipate that you have to miss exam, you have to let me know, send email that you are about to miss exam because you are sick and whatever respectable reason, you know about them. Quizzes, we'll have 2 quizzes. Quizzes are take home, and you'll have several days to do it. So it's hard to miss something which is several days to do. But if you miss deadline, done. There's no makeup because you have 1 week to do it. Yes?
Quizzes are closed book, right?
Yes, closed book. It is at home, closed book, several attempts, like 3 attempts at least. I will set it up. And it is conceptual. I will not ask you to write code. It will be only true, false, and MCQ questions. You will have only 2 quizzes available for 1 week before exam. It will be kind of rehearsals when you prepare to theoretical part of your midterm and final exam. Because on midterm and final exam, you will have quiz, likely on paper, only 1 attempt, and unlike preparation quiz. It will be based on the same theory, but not necessarily the same questions. Some questions might repeat because it is from the same pool, but it's not the same stuff. But it's the same theory, guaranteed. Some questions may be exactly the same. So for this reason, do not skip quiz. And it's also 5% of your final grade, each quiz, so don't skip it. You have 1 week, several attempts, do it. Midterm and final exam will have 2 parts, theory and practice. Theory will likely be on paper, unless for some extraordinary circumstances, all exams are moved online. By default, it is in class. Who knows what happened? I don't know, snow day or whatever, unlikely. But, so if it is moved online, of course, it will be online quiz, not on paper. But by default, it will be on paper. If you take exam due to some respectable reason or due to accommodations in Accessible Learning Center, it will be also either online or either on paper. It will match what is in class, essentially. It will match what is in class. So if in class it was online, it will be online there. If it were in class it was on paper, it will be on paper there. For the first part. The second part is practical part. And in this practical part, I want you to show your skills. Because theory is tested separately. It is open book, open internet. I want to see your skills in developing something not large and complicated, but something similar to your assignment, actually shorter than assignment, guaranteed shorter than assignment, but somewhat similar. And you need to show your skills that you can make it work. So second part, it is skills part. And if you cannot make it work, your grade will be extremely low, like below 30% for second half. For first one, it is really based on how much you learn, so it is a theory, true, false, MCQ. But for second part, you really need to make it work to some degree, and grade will be proportional to how much it is working, not to how much it is of the code is there. Because it is open book, it is similar to assignment. Even a random copy-paste from your assignment can produce something sensible, but it will not work. So for this reason, I think second part of midterm and final exam, it is skills part. It's not theory part. What is graded, primarily your skills that you made something work, and what is working is part of your grade. If nothing is working, unfortunately it happened, it will be limited to 30% only. So don't go this way. Comment out stuff that doesn't work to make it work, essentially. So as in any applied computing course, you can submit your assignment late up to 72 hours, 3 days. Typical rule, 10% penalty for each day. Don't go there, just submit it earlier. I will post all assignments at least 1 week before it's due. So start early, because Unfortunately, Android Studio is not always nice to you and to me as well. So it may misbehave, so you will need to find a way to fight it, to make it work, to find the issue why it doesn't do what you need, Google it or ask me. So you will have at least 2 lessons between it is posted and it is due. So it is posted at least 1 week before, and it is due on Saturday. Do not postpone it to last day, because many things can go strange way at last moment. Unfortunately, this is a feature of Android programming. So do not go in that direction. Start working on the assignment right after it is posted, and when it is posted, you will have all the theory to do this assignment guaranteed. So no extra information will be given later for specific assignment, so it will be reviewed in class of the assignment when it is posted. I will try to video record review of assignment when it is posted, but again, video recording is not guaranteed because technology fails sometimes. So try to be in class. Assignments are due on Saturdays of this week, these weeks when it is says. So first assignment will be due on Saturday of week 4. And the reason why it is due on Saturday of week 4, really kind of far away, because we need to learn a lot before to do anything sensible. It is in the language that you didn't learn before, so we need to learn language. It is using software, Android Studio, not familiar to you before, so it is extra software. And it's also different programming approach that is not guaranteed that you're aware of so far. So it is 3 things to learn: framework, different approach, language, and software. So what is going to be here in assignment 1? Some simple 1-page application already with GUI, but it's not asking a lot. It will be only 1 page. Something like guess a number. Kind of, yeah, you're right, you're wrong, whatever. Try again. So this part, 1-page application, I may ask you to insert some pictures so to check that you know how to deal with pictures, but it still takes a lot to learn how to do it. So this is why we have 3 weeks before it's due. So the full description will be posted at least 1 week before it is due. It means latest on Thursday of week 3. So you will have 2 lessons before it is due, and it is due on Saturday. All assignments will be due on Saturday, but it doesn't mean that I want you to work on Saturday. It is extra day in case something goes wrong or you didn't have enough time during the week. You really have to do it on Saturday. I really encourage you not to do work on Saturday, because on Saturday I don't reply in the mails because it's a day off for me. So don't expect me to reply in mails on weekend. So for this reason, I don't encourage you, one of the reasons I don't encourage you to discourage you to work on Saturday. I don't reply emails on weekend. Another reason, and very good reason, you need to have a rest during weekend. So relax, have some fun, so you have full of energy. You are full of energy for next week. So don't spend weekend studying unless you really have to, essentially, or doing assignment unless you really have to. For some reason, many things can go differently for different people. So assignment 2, it will be 2-page application, and by the time you will learn navigation, and you will have more of Android architecture using view models, flows, state flow, so it will be here. So practical part of the material will ask you to do 2-page application, but simpler than an assignment. Somewhat similar, but simpler. So this is where first half ends. 2-page applications. Data obviously need to be shared between pages. And I expect some reasonable architecture that will be described and discussed before. Assignment 3 will be after you learn how to deal with data on the internet and data stored locally as a database in application. So likely it will have both data coming from internet and storage this locally in the app inside of the database, local database of Android app. If we go a little slower than planned, I will drop second part, data stored locally in the app from assignment 2. It really depends how fast we go. But it will be covered anyway, because it's necessary part to learn. So it's not clear at this moment that it will be in assignment 3, but assignment 3 guaranteed will have getting data from internet. It doesn't mean that you need to develop server side, of course not. It will be some data elsewhere on the internet, like a weather or whatever. You just download it and display it. Not in your app. So your app downloads, so it's current data. When I run your app, it should be current data, not when you develop it. Okay? So it's not hard-coded data. Assignment 4 will be using cloud. So clouds became essential part of any application, so it needs to be discussed, and you will have it in assignment 4 in some form. So it will not be fancy, but hands-on experience with using cloud. The choice for this course of a cloud, it is Firebase. Firebase, it is part of Google Cloud platform. Google Cloud platform. It is reasonably separate from it. So when you log in into Firebase, you don't see explicit links even to Google Cloud platform. But it is designed specifically mostly for application, for mobile applications. In web development, that is supporting it. So you can do web applications using Firebase and mobile applications. It's not Android specific, so it will be kind of transferable skills between all courses that are using mobile. Not everything, but some of it will be transferable skill. So this is where the course ends. Implementing advanced features, it's extra things that will not be on assignment 4 and most likely not on exam. It is extra time given for you, like 2 lessons, to ask questions for assignment 4. Because remember that I posted 1 week before, so you'll have at least two lessons to ask questions if something goes wrong. But it's not just coming to ask questions. It will be I will explain something useful. For example, how the planet idea for this, how to display infinite lists. It is one of the choices, for this week, how to display infinite lists. You're familiar with this concept, like when you go to social network website, for example, whatever, Facebook, you scroll, it keeps downloading when you scroll. So you can implement it natively on Android, and our current plan is to explain how to do it for this week. If I find something cooler, I will do that. So this is planned for implementing advanced features. Adapt to different screen sizes. It's also not in assignment 2, and it's not even, most likely not even that assignment. And it's not in the midterm. It is the same logic as here. So when you keep working on assignment 2, you have 1 week to ask questions and learn something useful. I don't put it on assignment or exam because this is quite surprisingly advanced topic. Adjusting to different screen sizes. It requires lots of code, and there is no exact direct way how it should be done. There are multiple ways of doing it, and Google describes in documentation multiple ways, and they also change it. So it will be discussed with some examples, but believe me, at this moment, it is quite advanced topic, how to make applications that looks nice and works nice on different screen sizes, including foldables, because when you fold, your situation changes drastically, all right? So this is planned for week 6. Our midterm exam is on Thursday, second day of the week, and one day before, it will be something either continued or just we will think what it is, or just day for questions. But final exam is on Tuesday. It is first day of the exam week, not last. And the reason for it is that grades are due on Monday. So I need to grade a lot before it's due. So it is on Tuesday. I will post several times, so don't forget it is on Tuesday, it's not on Thursday. Questions? No? So depending how fast we go, I may rearrange things or move, but deadlines are unlikely to change. And the way how to deal with it, I will just change slightly content of it. If I don't cover some topic, it won't be on the assignment. So I will change content of assignment depending on how much is covered, but I don't want to move assignments because if it is moved further, it will collide with something else, and I don't want to move content close to end. This is unfortunately due on last week before exam, last Saturday before exam week, and the reason for this, because we need at least 3 full weeks of discussing Firebase before anything is due. This topic, unfortunately, requires lots of coding and lots of explanations. And it cannot be easily dropped from the course because it's essential skill. Any sensible application do require some cloud storage. Why? One of the reasons, users want to share data with themselves. For example, user maintaining some kind of list, shopping list, and user wants to access it from 2 devices like some iPad or whatever, Android equivalent for this tablet, and phone, and to see exactly the same data. And maybe even wants to check it through web, log in and check it from web. So users may want to share data between several devices and the same user, and it does require storage elsewhere on cloud in order to implement this feature. Another reason is that some applications do share data between users. For example, any kind of games or social networking, simple social networks, right? They do share data on web, or even go into shopping list. Shopping list could be shared between members of the same family, for example, right? And updated this way. So it appears to me like that cloud path is essential, although it is complicated, it is essential, and it should be discussed for at least 3 weeks before anything sensible can be done. And the assignment won't be something super advanced, but it will be hands-on experience with it. Speaking about practical part of final exam, it will be either similar to assignment 3 or assignment 4, depending how well it goes. So practical part of final exam will be either similar, somewhat similar but smaller than this, or somewhat similar but smaller than this, depending how well it goes, either way. Any questions? Yes?
I'm wondering, are the quizzes going to be on Tuesday?
It is also due on Saturday, and it will be available through entire week. At least 3 attempts, I will set it up. So you can do it during the week anytime.
And like how would you said there are 3 attempts, but like how would it be graded then? Like,
Automatically, it is
like the highest attempt?
at highest.
Okay.
So you can, there's no point of doing just one attempt. You can do one just to try, and if you don't like, great. Study a little bit, do second one, and do third one last moment after you finish studying for it. Not last moment, but last day, okay, or one day before. So it will be at least 3 attempts or 4 attempts. So you will have kind of preparation to do it. And the exam will be only 1 attempt, and most likely it will be on paper. Unless everything is moved online, like a snow day, for example. Final exam. Midterm is like it will be snow day. Okay. So any questions about this part? No? So let's go back to week 1 and talk about software installation. Many things are changing, and at the previous iteration of the course, we installed 2 pieces of software. One is to learn Kotlin, and one is to develop Android applications in Kotlin. And I decided to do shortcut, and we will develop Kotlin applications just using Android Studio, so we don't have to install something extra. It makes sense. It looks a little ugly, but it makes sense. It makes sense because we can add GUI to this application without creating new projects. It's second iterations of this app. So initially, it will be some business logic of the app. That's just pure logic. And we will add GUI when we learn how to do it. It is next week. But today, it will be just hello Android using Android Studio with minimal GUI that is generated automatically. Everything else will be tested. You will see outputs in the console in the bottom part of Android Studio, so it will be workable, but it's not displayed in the app itself. It is displayed in Android Studio. Okay? And we will learn how to do automatic tests today, hopefully, or in the beginning of the next lesson. It's also an essential part of programming is to learn how to do testing. And testing can be done by running entire app or by running parts of it, like business logic. And there are essential skills to find bugs, obviously, right? So it will be part of this course is learning how to do it. Okay, but most of the time it is essentially practicing with assignments. Going here to Android Studio, in Essential, there is a training courses. So let's click on this, and oh, this is good. Android Basics with Compose. Unfortunately, if we cannot go with this course line by line. The reason is that this course is skipping a lot that needs to be learned. And it goes extremely slow. We don't have to do time to do it in the class. If you want to invest time at home, we're doing step by step those tutorials. You're absolutely welcome. Just be aware it is skipping a lot. And it is finishing earlier than this course. Well, and it is going extremely slow. Like what is assumed for one lesson here, it will be like 8 hours. Yeah. I try to record, but we record the lessons, but don't rely on it because one of these, it is not reliable. And second, one of the reasons it's not reliable. Second reason, people who rely on watching videos later tend to accumulate, and it is so much stuff to watch, they just give up watching it. So because imagine students miss it 2 lessons, it's already 6 hours. And when to watch it, maybe weekend, 6 hours on weekend, you waste entire weekend on it. And not weekend, for 1 day of weekend, 6 hours. Only because you skip it 2 lessons, right? And students who skip 3 lessons, it's already insane investment of time. So if you miss a lesson for some reason, try to recover it as quickly as possible. Do not accumulate, because it may end up so much that it is overwhelming. Previously, it was another link, Android Basics with Firebase. And it looked really good idea in the beginning, because in this course we need to learn Firebase in order to learn how to do clouds. They removed it for quite good reason, because that course was initially quite broken. But since it's still online, it's not linked here. I provide link, it's still online. With extra information from me, hopefully it's manageable. But that course was quite broken. It relied on information not described in this course and not described in that course. Somehow they assume it's that people will learn it somehow. And also, initial version of this course contained quite bad code from Android development point of view. I don't know, this is just first iteration, so didn't pay attention much. They tried to make it work. Second iteration of this code is a lot better. Unfortunately, this theoretical part of the course does not link to it. It is a theoretical discussion, sensible, even with new code, but code shown in the discussion is not the same as in app. Okay. So it's still useful, but not directly. I will provide links to that with extra information, you'll be fine. It is not linked to the front page. It is still on Google, and with extra information should be fine. For experienced Android developers, it is for experienced, obviously. It is also useful to look through. Maybe not first lesson, but later on. Android app architecture, it is related to documentation and these courses together. Accessibility, certification program, they removed it. So far, as I know, it is just this link, but they removed Android certification. Currently, it's not available. So there's no way to get certified in Android programming by Google at this moment. And they said that we're about to update, and eventually it was about to update for several years, and I think it's just completely gone. Last time I checked, they just said it's gone. But this link is there. Maybe they put it back. Click on it and see. Okay. So learn more. Start in training. Google Store. It's only Google Store. It's not from scratch. Right? So previously it was training from scratch with certification exam. They removed it. And I'll discuss why. Because previous certification was hardwired to previous way to do GUI. And they don't recommend this anyway. So there's no point of having certified exam that Google doesn't, in something that Google doesn't recommend. And they didn't make new. So we will discuss it today, difference between the new GUI and older GUI. When we create application from scratch today using Android Studio. So next thing to do is initial software installation. In this course, we will use version control system, Git. It is the most common version control system around. Git, we will use it for three reasons actually. First reason is to get hands-on experience with so common software, Git. It is absolutely useful and required in use of your capstone projects. It is hard requirements of capstone project use Git version control system. So it is required in any code that you submit for grading. So we need to install it. It's easy to install. Detailed advanced features of Git is hard to learn and understand, but we will not dive there. We will use only elementary things, how to do commits, how to do unroll to previous commit, how to create code branches, maybe merging them if you really want to, and this kind of stuff. Or moving update from one branch to another branch by cherry picking. I will show it. what is requirement for your assignment? To have at least one branch, main branch, and do reasonable commits. What is commit? Saving current version. Current version. So for the primary reason to show that you know how to do it. Second reason that when you click Control button, because you broke your code by accident, it will go to previous saved version. For this reason, commit everything that you want to keep, any small achievements that you want to keep. You can always undo what you committed or undo to previous commit. So this is primary reason. Second reason, it is extremely hard to develop Android applications without this feature because it tends to break a lot when you do it. You change something, or Android Studio asks it you, and you say, oh, okay, or I say okay, because and it broke it. It made sense. Suggestion made sense, but it broke it. With the code, it happens. So this way you can do unroll to previous commit, and you're fine with it. It works. But if it does something on your request, like do you want to do it or want to do this, we click OK. It changes not necessarily one file. It may be in some other file which is not obvious where. And it stops it working. It appears for mysterious reasons. So for this reason, for this, Git is essential. So if any change happens by Android Studio because you agreed, or just it did something on it by itself because it looked smart to it, but actually changes are not not so smart because it's a robot. It's not really a human being. So for this reason, we can always unroll. Otherwise, you may be stuck. So for this reason, commit every small achievement that you want to keep. What is small achievements that you want to keep? It's up to you, obviously. So I assume that you will do several commits before you submit your code. And third reason, cheating becomes really uncomfortable. Because if you do commits, it is saving not only last version, it will save previous versions. So it will be hard to do that because it's several things. Especially during exam, because during exam, students who cheat, they get code from somebody, right? And it is always last moment code. And the commits do have timestamps. So if all commits last 2 minutes, it looks suspicious. And I'll have to look into that. So also commits its kind of previous version, so it can be unrolled to see what is going on, if in case of any questions. Using Git makes cheating uncomfortable. So it's a not essential reason for using Git or requiring using Git, but it's kind of one of the reasons. So using Git is required. And the first thing that we'll install is using Git. Second software that we will install is Android Studio. It will be end for installation for now. Previously, we installed software called IntelliJ IDEA Ultimate because we were learning Kotlin outside of Android Studio. In this iteration of the course, I decided to do shortcut. Let's do it directly in Android Studio. It works fine, so why not? So let's go to initial software installation and see what is there. So in initial software installations, it says, important, install Android Studio by default. If you do have it already installed and you installed it like a year ago, it's better to uninstall it. Not to run update because it may keep settings that made sense a year ago but don't make sense right now. So if your Android Studio is installed 1 year ago, for some reason you didn't play it with it or you took this course and dropped it, uninstall it before installing Android Studio. If you install it in the summer, just run update. It will be fine. Okay. It is default installation, just next, 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 nothing special. It works just fine on Windows, Mac, and Linux. No issues with these three platforms. It works fine on both versions of Mac hardware, Intel and Apple chip. No problem. So stick to it. Mac installation is straightforward. Also, next. Linux could be a little trickier, but I assume that if you use Linux, you are good with it. Otherwise, there's no point of using Linux. Most likely I'll use Mac. Unlikely I will use Windows, but I figured it out. If it works on Mac, it will work on Windows and vice versa. It's not that different because it is running in virtual machine. And virtual machine, Google made sure that it is compatible in between. It is different virtual machine, obviously, because it's running on different hardware, but Google made sure it is reasonably compatible. When I grade it and I reply that it does not work, but it works on your computer, send me a message, please look at it again, okay? Because who knows what happens. But just don't send this message, it works if it doesn't work on your laptop. Because I may ask you to show. Okay. Most likely, if it works, this installation works on your laptop, it works on mine, vice versa. But sometimes it fails, unfortunately. It fails sometimes because virtual machine itself is not always perfect. And it may have issues with settings. So this way I will check settings and make sure that it is fine. So Git installation. Git installation is different for Mac and for Windows. For Mac, easiest way is to install it when you install it Xcode. You probably took a course where that was prerequisite using Xcode. So most likely you already have Git on it. So most likely you don't need to install it. If you do not have it, open Xcode and find option in the beginning to install command line tools. So Git on Mac comes with command line tools. How to know if it is installed or not? Open terminal on Mac. It is just changed colors. It will be, by default, it will be black on white. And type Git. If it says usage Git, blah, 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 it means install it. It is installed. Just keep it. Don't do anything. So this is how to check if it is installed. Otherwise, open Xcode and find option in the beginning to install tools and choose command line tools, and it will install it. By default, I will just assume that you use Mac. It is fine to do it with Windows, but on Windows, you need to install Git differently. I will show how to do it. It is on the second slide. On Windows, there is a link here, and go there only if you use Windows. But I click it on Mac, and it says download for Mac. But if you open it on Windows, it says download for Windows. Okay? And after this, download it for Windows and click next by default. But at some point, it may ask you to choose your preferred editor. If it asks. And if it asks to choose your preferred editor, it doesn't matter what you choose, but you have to choose something. You can choose only things which is already installed or comes with Git. If no editor in the list is installed on your laptop, just choose none. It comes with Git. It's bad editor, quite ugly, but we will not use it. It is only because you have to choose something during install. We will use it with Android Studio, and all editing will be done with Android Studio, not with that editor that you chose. Okay? So this is how to install it on Windows and on Mac. Git configuration. On either of those platforms, Mac on Windows, you need to do 2 configuration settings from command line. There's no other way to do it, from command line. On Mac, you open it in terminal, open terminal and type it. On Windows, you go to, this is corner menu of Windows when you select software. Go to program selections, find folder Git, and open Git BA shell. Git BA shell comes with Git. It will be in the folder of Windows menu that you open. Show all program files or recently installed it, and you find Git BA shell there. It is the same kind of BA shell that you encounter on Linux, but it is ported to Windows. And it is easiest way to deal with Git from command line on Windows. On Mac, it is not BA shell, it is, what's that? Z shell. Z shell on Mac.
Yeah, it's
Z shell, yeah. Z shell on Mac, it is nearly the same for this purpose. So you type git space config space -- global space user.name, and obviously your name in quotes, not mine. If you don't do it, it will keep bugging you to do it when you use Git. So do it after installation. The same about email. Use your name and your email. It will not email you anything at all unless you post it on web yourself. It is not going to web by default. It stays on your laptop. Okay. Why do I need that? First, it will keep annoying you until you do it anyway. Second, if it appears to me like a name of another student, I will have to find out why it appears to me like a name of another student. So make sure it doesn't appear like a name of another student. I don't want to spend time figuring out what is going on. Okay? So use your shared email, or at least email that has your name in it. So it doesn't appear like an email of somebody else. Or the same. Should be somewhat similar to your name. Okay, what I see it should not look like a name of another person. Okay? So the best way is just to use how I know you in the class role. Hopefully clear, right? So next, using GDK with Android Studio. By default, in most cases, you don't need to install Java separately because, as far as I know, Android Studio always came with own GDK. If it is different now, go try to resolve the situation if it arises. Okay? So Android Studio typically comes with own GDK that will be in the folder of Android Studio installation itself. Do not change it into different GDK unless you really, really have to for some reason. And I don't see any reason for it. Just don't. Sometimes, if for some reason you have really old Java on it, Android Studio used to have this bug, but I'm not sure if it is now. Sometimes it finds that old Java and tries to link to it. And it will show messages during compilation, this Java is not supported by Android Studio, whatever. And it will be messages related to it. So if you see that this Java message, that this Java is not supported, most likely it is linked to some Java which is outside of Android Studio due to some bug in it. It used to be an annoying problem. It looks like it disappeared, but it disappeared to me because I just removed the Java installation. There's no point of having it, it's very old. Okay? I'm not sure if it's still around. Okay? So Android Studio installation. This slide, either use it for a couple years. And at some point, we had to switch UI from classic to new. It appears to me that current default is new UI. So if when I run Android Studio, and it looks drastically different from yours, just call me and I will probably look at this and say it is the same UI or not. Okay? If it looks drastically, if when I run it, it looks drastically from yours, it's probably, it is, I don't know, it's not default, or you switched it before in settings survive it when you uninstalled Android Studio. So if it looks drastically different from mine, most likely it is classic UI, so you need to change it through settings. Otherwise, it appears to me it's new default. A year ago, it wasn't, for sure. We had to switch it. Okay? So when I run it, you will see. It may look drastically different from mine because I changed colors and I added text next to buttons. It is my extra setting, so it's easier to show which button it is. But by default, it will not be text next to button, and it will be different colors. Anything else, just click next, next, next till the end. It says, keep it updates current, install updates current as they come. Do not do it right before assignment is due, because if it breaks, you will have to deal with it. So again, if you have several days before assignment due, it is really good idea to update. If it is last evening or one evening before last evening, just don't. Wait till assignment due date pass, you submit assignment and update it there. If it breaks before assignment is due, the best way to uninstall it completely and install it again. Don't try to fix it. If it breaks so much that it just doesn't work. There are several ways to deal with broken things in Android Studio. We will learn with it without an installation. Sometimes it really misbehaves, and it is fixable without an install. I will show it today because it's essential, or next week. Definitely before assignment is posted. Okay. Virtual device. By default, it will install something when some virtual device, and most likely it will be this one. We will see today. Okay. If it's not, we will deal with it today. All right. And we will just install one virtual device for the practice, just name it differently to see what is going on. Okay. I installed this on Windows today, and when I went through installation process, at some point it will check mark install virtual device, and it was already checked. And it seems like it was installed, but I didn't check. I can check it. It didn't. Okay, it didn't create virtual device. Although it was checked, it probably installed software about virtual device, but not virtual device itself. So when you install it, you will see, and we will just do it. Deal with this issue, not issue, this thing, as we go. Okay. Any questions? No? So this is what to do. And before we do anything meaningful, you need, in terms of coding, you need to install software. We started at 11, and we will continue until 2, but we need to have a break. So in about 15 minutes, we'll have a break. But before, just let's talk about general things. And after break, you will continue installing software, and I will discuss Kotlin language itself. And during last hour, after break, we will create something in Android Studio. By the time, hopefully, it will be installed for everyone on every laptop. The question, is anybody is using Windows right now on your laptop? No? So if no, I will just ignore Windows. I typically use two laptops because I want to save time, because when I type code, I sometimes forget, make mistakes, so I kind of cheating and looking in. Okay. When you do coding, it's always open book. So I expect that you can look up if you forget things. Primary requirement, you need to understand what is going on and need to develop skills to develop it, not to memorize it. So if I look up my code previously type it, I can recover it, but it will, without looking up, but it will just take long, and I don't want to waste your time. Okay. I also do commits, so you can go to previous version and see what was previous steps. Any questions about it? Warning about Kotlin. Again, I give a lot of warning in the beginning. Warning about Kotlin language. Kotlin language is designed to be compact language because GUI code is quite long, so they tried to make a language which doesn't require lots of lines of code. Just because it's designed to be compact language, it is harder to understand because it's compressed, and it takes longer to learn. So it is designed to be Java compatible, so it runs with Java libraries, referring to Java libraries on Java virtual machine. And technically, you can have Java code and Kotlin code within the same app running together. Don't go this way because it makes it unnecessarily complicated. Plus, you didn't learn Java yet. Most likely, you may learn it in some course, but you didn't learn it unless you did it yourself. Okay? So there's no point at this current stage of technology to learn Java for Android development unless you have to maintain legacy code. So you work for a company that is using Java for some part of the program application that was written many years ago, and it's still reused. So they write new part in code in Kotlin, and they link it together within the same app. Otherwise, there's no point, unless you work for Google and do something really deep. So most Android development, new Android development is done in Kotlin, and we learn it in Kotlin. I refer to Java only because I need to explain things. I need to explain decisions that made in design, because some of the decisions look strange, unless you know why it was made. Because original code development of Android application was done in Java, and they just need to stay compatible. So Android, Kotlin takes somewhat some time to get used to, and it's also warning, do not postpone it. Simple features are extremely quick to learn in Kotlin. In terms of languages, it is similar to JavaScript, similar to C#, similar to TypeScript, but it is still a different language. It's not copy-pastable from any language. So do not try to learn it at last moment. We will not learn it in one lesson, obviously. It takes time we will learn it as we develop Android Studio applications, and we will start today with just brief review with slides, and to fill time while you do installations of Android Studio, and after this, we will continue this with Android Studio. So this is the plan. Okay? So brief review with slides. Okay? Should we do break now? What's your preference? Before slides or after slides? Before slides. So let's have like 15 to 20 minutes break starting now. So now it is 12:15. So let's restart at 12:35. It will be 20 minutes. 12:35. Okay. It's probably lunchtime break. It's a good time, right? To have 20 minutes break. So till 12:35. Okay. And now I'll stop recording.